Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. I'm Nicolette Hodge, and I'm here to highlight the true history of the original black woman right here in North America for the last 400 years. Now, it's important to understand our history, sisters and brothers, because understanding our history is part of having a thorough knowledge of self. And so, how can you have a full perspective and put everything in its proper context if you don't truly understand what it is that you have been through? They call our experience slavery. However, let me ask you this, sisters. If you go to work and you are working the job and you're already not getting paid your worth or what the value that you have brought to the job. So that's capitalism, because you might have produced $5,000 for this company, but you're only getting paid $1,000 every 2 weeks. However, if you are going into a job and you're there to work, and then somebody comes and punches you in the face, rips your clothes off, rapes you, and proceeds to further torture you, would you consider that part of the job description? So that's a very basic example to show that slavery cannot possibly be our true experience. It cannot possibly be our full experience. Slavery is an economic system of capitalism, which is maximum profit, minimum overhead. So, we were in a time period of servitude to America, in which we did whatever they wanted us to do. We worked the fields. We built their homes. We kept the economic system going by them taking our free labor, maximum profit, and giving us the very least that they could give us back, the minimum overhead, which is the trash. Just enough to keep us alive. They fed us shitlins. Maximum profit, minimum overhead. Slavery is an economic system of capitalism. However, how did they maintain that system? How did they conduct themselves towards us is the question. And so, the Holocaust is the correct name for our 400-year history, our true experience, right here in America, in the land of our captivity. So, America doesn't teach about the Holocaust. They call it a critical race theory. However, there's nothing theoretical about the horror that they inflicted on us, that we endured. Our history is documented facts, and they cannot undo the actions that they have taken against us. So understand that the term slavery is a whitewashed term, a lie, when being applied to our full experience. Slavery does not begin to touch to explain what it is that we truly endured. Slavery is only 1% of our experience. The affliction is the other 99%. Therefore, the Holocaust is the correct term, sisters and brothers. The Holocaust. Now, these devils try to tell us that we should forget about what was done to us. Leave it in the past. However, take exactly what they said and flip that on them. Tell them to leave the Holocaust in the past and see how they respond to that. A situation where they came against each other. They would not accept us telling them to forget about the Holocaust. But they are lying to us and hiding our true experience, which was totally off the page. Extreme, intense torture around the clock. So, the Holocaust. They maintained their economic system of slavery with horror and terror. Now take a look at this picture, sisters and brothers. What do you see? These devils circling our sisters, preparing to do the unthinkable to us. Now, the pictures don't really do much justice because even in their graphics, they still are watering down what they did to us. Understand that they took our clothes off of us. We were forced to walk around naked so that they could take us and rape us at any moment. These devils saw us and still see us as animals, which, let me expose this. They have us classified as 3/5 human in the U.S. Constitution. They had us eating out of troughs like cattle. We didn't get spoons and forks. They fed us human and animal shit. Understand that their treatment towards us was extremely inhumane. And they call us the animals. But let me point this out. These devils raped us around the clock, 24/7, nonstop. As they forced their seed into our wombs and made us give birth to their house Negroes, their demon children. If they truly believe that we are animals, then why were they raping us? Wouldn't that make them beast? Isn't that called bestiality? So, sick sisters and brothers, no matter how you cut it, these devils come up stinking because in their actions show it clearly that they are wicked beast. No discipline. And so they did not spare any of us. They crossed all boundaries. And this is not something light. This is not something that we forgive. That's just another tactic of this forgiveness BS that they put on us to keep us docile and in submission to them. So, understand that these devils took everything from us. Our names, our language, they humiliated us. They raped our men right in front of us. They raped us right in front of our men. And if our men stood up to defend us, they would kill them. So not only did they physically torture us, however, they psychologically tortured us as well. And by us not being protected, it caused us to lose respect for our original black man. These devils know exactly what they were and are doing by touching the original nation's woman. They were told not to touch that tree, and they touched us over and over and over again, taking something that does not belong to them. Stealing our womanhood, if you will. Stealing our wombs. And forcing us to produce an entire nation of devils in black skin. The house Negroes. Masses, tar babies, who were put in place to keep us in check and to keep us in compliance, keep us into submission of these devils. And so the demons have the black skin tone of their original mother. However, the bloodline of their devil father, who raped us nonstop, relentlessly, raped us as newborn babies all the way till death. Took our children and used them as foot warmers and bed warmers. So like you have a heating pad in your bed and you put it on your back, they'll have one of our babies in their bed, laying down on them as if our babies were some type of heating pad, putting their feet on our babies when they're laying on the ground as if we're some type of rug or mat. Forcing us to do the unthinkable to each other. That's not slavery, sisters. That's the Holocaust. So all throughout this process of them trying to totally wipe our seed out of existence, carrying out mass genocide on the original black man and original black woman right here in North America. We stood up for our nation in a time of need, sisters. And we did what needed to be done. And no one told us to do it. We stood up for our nation. We saw that these devils were trying to totally wipe us out of existence. And we wasn't having it. So we bent over backwards for our nation. We gave the ultimate charity to our nation, putting time and energy into preserving the true seed of Abraham in a time where we barely had enough energy to live. So we procreated with the original black man while being under the threat of severe torture and death if we were found to be pregnant with our original seed. They did not allow us to be a family. There were no marriages. All of that stuff that they show you on movies are lies. We weren't in cabins. We didn't have a home. We didn't have clothes on our backs. That's a lie. They're showing you the perks that their demon children had. They got to stay in the big house. They got accommodations just for being master's children. They got to have clothes on their backs. They got to have a family unit. That's not our experience. So even what they show you on the media is a total misrepresentation of what we really went through. And so we have made a sacrifice, and we are still sacrificing to this day for our nation, to keep our nation in existence. And that has not gone unnoticed, sisters. And it's not just the fact of us procreating. It's the process of ensuring that the true seed of Abraham continues to live on. So not only did we have to sneak to procreate, we also had to give birth to our original babies and sneak and nourish them. And wrap them up to our bodies and stay while we're working in the fields and under the threat of massa snatching our babies off of our bosoms at any moment and going alligator hunting with our babies. Snatching our babies off our bosom and selling them to the next massa to be raped. So we kept our nation alive. And there is a reward for that, sisters. We are warrior queens, standing up for our nation in a time of need. Fearless. Well, let me clarify that. Because they instilled fear in us. However, just the mere fact that these devils went to war against our seed and we did not allow them to be successful. That shows the courage and the strength of the original black woman. So they physically tortured us around the clock. And part of that torture was them trying to totally annihilate our original seed, but we did not allow them to be successful. And we are the evidence of that here today. And if it wasn't for us, sisters, we would not be alive. So understand that you are valuable. You are needed. And without you, sisters, there would be no true seed of Abraham. Period. So they also psychologically tortured us, played on our emotions. Excuse me. They told us to believe, or they taught us, they drilled it into us, they shoved this Jesus character down our throats. Told us that if we don't believe in Jesus, we'll go to hell forever and ever and ever. As I have explained, somehow they convinced us that there is a devil beneath the ground in hell with a pitchfork, and that if we don't believe in Jesus, we'll go to hell forever and ever and ever. Then they give us this character that looks just like them. And told us that we have to pray and believe and love something that could not even be proven to have ever existed. So let's get into Jesus. Who is Jesus, sisters and brothers? All right, sisters and brothers. Jesus is a total lie. And they put this lie on us and caused us to be in a state of fear, frozen in fear, preventing us from thinking for ourselves and asking questions. They didn't tell us about Joshua the Messiah when we were in the fields. They're not talking about Joshua the Messiah right now, for that matter. Because to speak about Joshua the Messiah causes you to start connecting dots and going to see what it is that Joshua the Messiah does, which he's the one to lead us home to the promised land. He is the messenger of the covenant. So they put the Jesus lie on us to prevent us from making that connection about who we are. On top of that, this put a heavy weight on our sisters. For one, we are the first nurse, the first teacher. If they could indoctrinate us with their religion of Christianity and make us fearful and have this sense of conviction, like we need to rectify something that we never even did wrong, telling us that the woman is bad, the woman is sinful because Eve caused Adam to sin, and they have no clue what that scripture is really saying. Adam and Eve are two countries. However, their minds are sealed. Therefore, they're looking at the sealed Bible with their sealed perspective, and they have no clue what those scriptures are truly saying. The sealed scriptures, that is. And so these devils put this propaganda and lies on us, specifically attacking us, sisters. So now, as I've explained, some of our sisters are in the church trying to save their families from going to hell forever and ever and ever, not even realizing that that is a total lie. And they have us feeding into this lie. And we are in the time of unprecedented trouble, sisters. The war in the Middle East is on. And things are about to change. America's economy is about to collapse. We are in danger. And these devils are about to make a deadly move to get rid of us. So this Jesus lie needs to be clearly understood, because we're not sitting around praying to no mystery God. We're going to take the knowledge and information that we are being given and really make sure that we understand it so that we can move accordingly on the information that the scriptures is giving us. The unsealed scriptures, that is. And we know ourselves, sisters, just as a mother. We know if our baby is sick, our baby has a fever, we have to get into action and get that handled. We don't sit around and pray. We start dealing with the facts and the science. Take the baby to the doctor, do X, Y, and Z. So how do I say this? Deep down within, if that's clear, we know that prayer The way that they have taught it to us is a bunch of BS. Prayer hasn't solved anything. Prayer does not get things done. So with us being in the time of unprecedented trouble, this Jesus lie being exposed before the shock hits America, that's about to happen at any moment, so that you're not frozen in fear, sitting there praying to some mystery God. You're in motion, getting to safety well in advance and prepared to make that next move, sisters. Now, if there wasn't any threat of hell, you wouldn't even be in the church. For those sisters who are in the church would be empty if there was no threat of hell. So the whole basis of them having us in the churches is all from fear. They are controlling us with fear. And that is a psychological, emotional thing. So they're playing with our emotions, which they have been doing that for the last 400 plus years. Playing with our emotions. Playing in our face. Telling us lies and scaring us. And because we're already in a traumatic situation, and trauma is just being done to us left and right by these devils, them afflicting us, that can make the mind vulnerable, especially when we're not even operating off of our true mind, which is the angel mind. However, we didn't have our mind during the time of the Holocaust. So, you haven't done anything wrong, sisters. However, reflecting the light on our situation so that we can understand what's going on and put everything into perspective and move accordingly. So let's keep moving. This is Genesis chapter 15, verse 12 through 17. This is Abram's vision of horror. This is the Holocaust. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram. And he said, and lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. Horror, sisters. Horror. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be sojourners. That means temporary. In a land that is not theirs. America is not ours. And shall serve them. That's the economic portion. We serve these devils. We worked the fields. We took care of the agricultural labor and needs. And what did these devils do to us? It shares, and they shall afflict them. That's the horror. And we're given a time frame. It says for 400 years. So the scriptures are very clear, sisters and brothers. And also, that nation whom they shall serve will I judge. So telling you, these devils haven't gotten away with a damn thing. And it says 400 years, afflict us for 400 years, and then also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge. So the judgment starts after that 400-year time period. So this is how we verify timelines, events, what's going on. Scriptures gives us full descriptions and points and times so that we can know exactly where we're at in time, because we're moving through time and we're in the process of moving from one season to the next. And the unsealed scriptures is the guide. So the 400 years lasted from 1619 to 2019. 2020 came in with a plague. 2020 started the judgment. which COVID-19 passed over those of us who have the blood of the Lamb. And the evidence is it did not affect the countries that the original black man and woman are in, such as Africa, such as Haiti. However, it dropped these devils in staggering numbers. False Israel got hit, COVID-19. All the European countries got hit and are crippled to this day behind COVID-19, which was just the beginning of their judgment. So that tells you right there who we are. And that tells you who they are. False Israel has stolen our identity. They claim that they are the seed of Abraham. Yet COVID-19 dropped their people like flies. So how can they be the true seed of Abraham when the plague did not pass over them? How can they be the true seed of Abraham and they were never in bondage to any man? They weren't strangers in the land that's not theirs, undergoing enslavement and affliction for 400 years. So these are clear proofs that we are dealing with liars, thieves, and murderers. These devils have stolen our identity and are trying to totally wipe us out of existence. It shares, and also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterwards shall they come out with great substance. Come out with our minds, with thorough knowledge of self, with our nation, the original nation, intact. We are the great substance, sisters and brothers. That's why America refuses to let us go. So anyone telling you that this is our land, we're supposed to be staying here, we need reparations in 6 states, is our enemy. Because that is totally against the scriptures. And why would we want to stay in the land of our imprisonment? Elijah Muhammad said that we would be fools to want to stay in the land of our imprisonment. But thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Go to thy fathers in peace. Our father is not from America. More evidence that we getting up out of here. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. And in the 4th generation, we're in the 4th generation, sisters and brothers, they shall come hither, which means return again. Return to the same place that our father Abram was in when he had the vision of horror. For the iniquity of the Amorite is not yet full. And it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, excuse me, sisters and brothers, my scripture cut off. However, we're going to move on to the Abrahamic covenant, which is the next verse down. In that day, God made a covenant. This is the Abrahamic covenant. This is God's sure and volatile word, and word is bond. In that day, God made a covenant with Abram, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. Those 2 rivers are not in America, sisters and brothers. And when you look on a map, the land that's in between those 2 rivers is Arabia, our promised land. The best part of the planet Earth that we have preserved for ourselves, our heavenly home, as identified in the supreme wisdom lessons of Master Farad Muhammad. So understand that this is our vision, sisters and brothers. The Abrahamic covenant is our vision. And our vision is what we are about to unite under. And with one common vision, we move as one unit and see our vision through. Fulfill our vision. We are also given a messenger of the covenant. So anyone claiming to be the one, any so-called black leaders claiming that they have the light, but they're not telling you about your vision and let you know that you have an inheritance, a reward, a promise that's more than a promise. God's sure and volatile word to place us in our own land, Arabia. If they're not telling you that, then they are our enemy. They are liars, thieves, claiming to be something that they're not. Farrakhan and his student ministers, they talk about Abram's vision of horror, the 400 years of enslavement and affliction, but they don't talk about the reward. The preachers, deacons, ministers, motivational speakers, they're not telling you about the Abrahamic covenant, not letting you know that you have a vision. They're pushing the American dream on us, which is an illusion. We have a home. We have a paradise to go build, in which there's homes and mansions, infrastructure waiting for us that we did not build, but it's ours. Which the House of Saud is sitting on our land, controlling our oil, pretending that it's their land. They have renamed it Saudi Arabia. So that's a red flag right there. Why is their name on our land? They're showing ownership of something that does not belong to them. So they are liars and thieves as well. And then false Israel stole our identity. They claim they're the seed of Abraham, yet they're not in Arabia. They're in Palestine, Jerusalem. They're in the Holy Land, pretending to be something that they're not. While causing abominable destruction of the Palestinians. So these devils are exposing exactly who they are right before our eyes. And this is what the war is all about, sisters and brothers. It's about our enemies trying to prevent the fulfillment of the Abrahamic covenant, and they will not be successful. For every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. We are endured 400 years of suffering, affliction. Excuse me. So that means that we have to receive something that's just as great as that suffering. However, it has to be the opposite. So that lets you know right there that we got something great. We have something monumental, if that's even a good word to use to describe this, sisters and brothers, this English language, trying to find the right word to describe what's going on here. However, the point of the matter is, reparations that's not equal. That's not equal to the Holocaust, so that can't possibly be right. On top of the fact that the scriptures is totally against it. Just thinking through what we've been through, reparations cannot possibly satisfy the Holocaust. So all that talk is just noise and distractions to keep you away from your true vision. We serve these devils. When we get home, the devils will serve us. We were on the bottom. Now we're about to be on the top. And these devils are going to be on the bottom. They will be our servants. Sisters, with a thorough knowledge of self and our discipline, which is part of that, we're going to raise ourselves up. Put ourselves on our pedestals, never to be removed again. No more oppression. No more being beneath anyone. Us standing side by side equal to our men. In control of ourselves. No one dictating, telling us what to do. Us developing our minds and producing, creating our own paradise. Understand that we have our own economics that has been promised to us through the Abrahamic covenant. And what comes along with that? Our own systems, our own structures, our own total peace, freedom, justice, and equality. This is what we have to look forward to, sisters. This is our vision. So we have an escape route out of America's destruction. We have a paradise to build. We have our home to go to. It shares, "Come out of her, my people." That means we got somewhere to go. Come out. So that we don't partake in the judgment. And I'm paraphrasing here. And the sins, for the sins of these devils. What sense would it make for us to stay here and get some of the punishment that these devils have for what they did to us? This destruction is not for us, sisters and brothers. And America knows that. That's why they're holding on to us. Using us as a shield. Refusing to let us go. So, sisters, it's wartime. Hold your head up, sisters. Be prepared to move out at any moment. Things are moving very quickly. Our brothers Iran and Syria will be successful in this war. And they are backed by our God, Master Farad Muhammad. America and Britain are going to get kicked out of the Middle East. Iran is going to take control of our oil. The House Assad is getting kicked out of the Middle East. Iran is going to turn off America's oil supply. They already closed the Strait of Hormuz, which is causing an economic strain. And when that oil supply gets completely turned off, no oil, that means a total economic destruction for America. Famine of all resources. And they are going to attack us. So we're being given the information that we need to stay ahead of this so that we can come out on top. So that we can get home in one piece. We will eat while our enemies go hungry. We will take care of each other. All we need is each other. And our mind and our discipline. And we're going to come together as a mighty army and exit America. So understand, sisters, that you have done your job. Your way is paved in gold. You want to come home? You're coming home. You will be secured. You will be respected. And it's our job to be prepared, sisters. We have children. So the wise thing to do is to get yourself at least a 30-day supply of food that does not have to be cooked. Have it in your car ready to go. Be fully prepared as much as we possibly can for this change, this economic collapse that's about to take place. And we're about to get to safety and make our exit out of America. So you have earned your reward, sisters. And now it's time for us to go home. So with that, that brings this segment to a close. Assalamu alaikum.